Welcome to the mysterious and mesmerizing world of the will-o'-the-wisp, those strange, flickering lights that dance over bogs, marshes, and even graveyards at night. Forget everything you thought you knew about fairy tales, because today we are diving into a reality far more complex, a perfect intersection between the most enduring legend and the most down-to-earth science. We're going to sift fact from folklore, from mischievous spirit to chemical reaction, and I promise you will never look at a swamp or bog in the same way again. Get ready for a journey where ghosts and molecules meet. It's going to be wild, but stay with me until the very end, because the final explanation for their rarity is a crucial clue about our own history. Buckle up, let's go. The history of the will-o'-the-wisp, or Ignis Fatuus, Latin for foolish fire, is a tapestry woven from fear and superstition across the ages. For centuries, these small, flickering flames were not seen as natural phenomena, but as living entities, often malevolent, that sought to lure night travelers off the path to their doom, plunging them into the mire, ravines, or sudden precipices. In France, particularly in Catholic folklore, they were viewed as the lost souls of unbaptized children, or sinners condemned to wander between worlds, begging for a prayer to find peace. Imagine the scene. You're walking alone in the fog, and suddenly, this small, irresistible light appears, inviting you to follow. Who wouldn't be tempted, perhaps hoping to save a soul or find a hidden treasure? Because yes, these little lights were sometimes believed to be guardians of treasure, especially in Finland and other Nordic countries, where seeking them out during midsummer was supposed to lead to wealth, a true spiritual get-rich-quick scheme, wasn't it? But the story changes dramatically across the channel. In England and Wales, the phenomenon is most famously known as the will-o'-the-wisp, William of the Wisp, torch, or sometimes jack-o'-lantern, Jack of the Lantern, the very origin of your Halloween pumpkin carving tradition. Here, it's a small, prankish, or sometimes outright evil sprite that delights in making a fool of humans by leading them straight into danger. We find it in Wales, where the flame's size would foretell the age of a person about to die, small for a child, large for an adult, a kind of luminous premonition. And in Louisiana, there is the fille follet, where Afro-Creole ancestors told tales of a fille follet being a person capable of shedding their skin to fly about as a ball of fire. The only way to stop it? Seasoning the shed skin with salt and pepper. Honestly, the recipe to stop a ghost is as important as the ghost itself, and it's these kinds of details that make folklore so delightfully rich. You see, the will-o'-the-wisp is a cultural chameleon, adapting its narrative to reflect local fears and beliefs, but always with the same core power, to mislead and to entice. This universal theme is like the Hitchcockian element of popular history. By the way, if you find this dive into the mysteries and legends as captivating as I do, you know what to do, right? Subscribe right now and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our future fascinating explorations, because the rest of this video is full of unexpected revelations. Now, let's get back to the flames. For a very long time, the idea that a simple chemical explanation could be hiding behind the will-o'-the-wisp was almost blasphemous. As early as the 16th century, scientists were trying to shed light on the matter. Swiss physicist Ludwig Lavater, in 1596, suggested the phenomenon was due to gases igniting as they escaped from the Earth. A bit vague, we agree, but it was the beginning of the end for the spirits. 2 centuries later, the Italian Alessandro Volta, yes, the one who gave us the battery, hypothesized in 1776 that the gas in question was methane, CH4, which ignited upon contact with electrical phenomena like lightning. A brilliant intuition, but incomplete. Why? Because methane, though flammable, needs a fairly powerful ignition source to burn. And a simple marsh isn't a gas stove. In the bogs, no lighters, no matches, just nothing. This thesis, though appealing and supported for a time, was eventually refuted by the scientific community because it couldn't explain the spontaneous combustion. It would take a more complex combination of chemistry to get closer to the truth. The most widespread and convincing theory today involves the decomposition of organic matter. In areas where plant and animal material decays in the absence of oxygen, bogs, marshes, old graveyards, it produces not only methane, marsh gas, but also small amounts of phosphine, pH 3, and diphosphane, P2H4. And this is where it gets interesting. Hold on to your hats. Diphosphane is a gas that is spontaneously flammable upon contact with air. We're talking about only 0.02% of diphosphane needed for the mixture to ignite. The idea is this: decomposition produces a gas mixture. As this mixture rises to the surface and hits the oxygen in the air, the diphosphane instantly ignites, which in turn sets fire to the surrounding more abundant methane. The result? A flame that seems to appear out of nowhere, a cool, flickering chemiluminescence, perfectly matching the descriptions of the will-o'-the-wisp. What has always made the will-o'-the-wisp so enigmatic is its unpredictable behavior. They appear and vanish, seem to recede when approached, and return when you pause. This elusive dance fueled the theory of malicious spirits. But science, here too, offers a simple, if less romantic explanation. Air movement. When you walk toward the flame, the air displacement you cause is enough to disperse the gas fueling the combustion. The flame goes out or appears to retreat. When you stop, the gas accumulates again, and the flame reappears. This is the shy will-o'-the-wisp described by Major Louis Blesson in his 19th century studies, who himself suspected the flame's mischief. This phenomenon, while having a scientific basis, took astonishing cultural forms worldwide. In Japan, the lights are known by various names, often associated with ghosts, hitodama, or mythical creatures. Onibi, demon fires, are balls of fire or light observed in a wide variety of places, not just wetlands, and are linked to the presence of demons or spirits. Beyond bogs, some sightings have also been linked to bioluminescence, for example from glowworms or armillaria fungi, the phosphorescent mushroom which emit a light intense enough to be mistaken, from a distance, for a will-o'-the-wisp. However, these phenomena are generally more static. In Slovakia and Poland, they spoke of the souls of the wandering dead, while in North America, particularly in the Ozarks mountains, they are called spook-lights or ghost lights, with stories persisting to this day, often tied to specific locations and tragic legends. Lost soldiers, deceased miners. Every culture has thus interpreted the same mysterious flame through the lens of its own myths, reinforcing the idea that the will-o'-the-wisp is a mirror of the human soul and its deepest fears. Today, observing a will-o'-the-wisp has become extremely rare. This isn't because the ghosts have taken a vacation, but because we, humans, have changed the landscape. The explanation is twofold and fascinating. First, the drainage of wetlands, marshes, and bogs for agriculture and urbanization has significantly reduced the areas where the necessary gases are produced. Fewer swamps mean less organic decomposition, which means less methane, phosphine, and diphosphane. It is human engineering that has dried up the source of the legend. Second, and this is a macabre but essential detail, the evolution of burial practices plays a role. In the days when will-o'-the-wisps were common, bodies were often buried in simple shrouds or less sturdy coffins, allowing decomposition gases to escape relatively easily. Today, modern coffins are much more airtight and resistant, significantly hindering the release of these gases in graveyards, which were once prime observation sites. Fewer gases escape, fewer will-o'-the-wisps appear. Paradoxically, progress and sanitation have extinguished the flame of the myth. The will-o'-the-wisp is therefore not a ghost, but incredible proof that a simple chemical reaction can give rise to the greatest stories. They are a poetic reminder that science does not destroy magic, it reveals it. The next time you see a small, flickering light, don't just think of ghosts, think of the chemistry. And especially, think of the fragility of these phenomena that we are causing to disappear.